This is a phrase that's on my wall, and it's very important for you to understand. Vision without implementation equals hallucination. Vision without implementation equals hallucination. And at conferences like this, you get all inspired and you've got the vision and you're ready to go. But if you're not careful and you don't have the right implementation, then it's just going to be a bunch of hallucination of what you're going through. And so one thing I want to do is you think through Ecclesiastes 5:7, and it says, dreaming without doing is foolishness. So we want you to dream those dreams that are so big. One of the primary leadership principles we have is don't let decision-making interrupt what God wants you to do. Don't let decision-making interrupt what God wants you to do. Do you know that in 1961, when President Kennedy said, we're going to the moon, do you know that it was physically impossible for us to get to the moon? But yet in 1969, we landed Neil Armstrong on the moon. And part of what you have to understand as a visionary leader, you need vision. You've got to have vision. If you're not dreaming about your discipleship, if you're not dreaming about what God's going to do in your church, if you're not dreaming the dreams and the goals that are just unbelievably impossible, nobody else is. And so you need to be the ones that are striking that coal to saying, what if? One of our first goals when I came on as a small groups pastor at Saddleback, we had about 30% of the people involved in groups. And I said, let's dream that we'll have more people in groups than we have in our weekend attendance. And it was almost laughable. But yet, almost 7 years later, for the first time, and since 2004 it's been true, we have more people in groups than we have on our average weekend attendance. We have groups that are helping stoke the fire for dreaming that every person in their group gets saved. Dreaming that every person in their group becomes a member of our church, grows in our discipleship plan, serves God with where they're gifted, and goes on mission. We dream that every person gets baptized. Since 1980, because I oversee the baptisms at Saddleback Church, since 1980, we just went over the 42,500th baptism. But if we're confident and comfortable with that, what is it? I just met with our team and I said, what's it going to take for us to baptize 5,000 people next year? Now, don't get skewed by the numbers, but be the person that ignores what is possible and sees what is impossible.